They call me Henry VIII's first wife. That's what history remembers. The first, as if that's all I ever was. But I was more than a name in a list. I was a queen who ruled, a woman who endured, and a wife who refused to lie. Let me tell you my story, in my own words.
I was born in 1485 in Spain to King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, the same rulers who united Spain and sent Columbus across the ocean. I was their youngest daughter, and from the start, my life wasn't really mine. I was raised for duty. I studied Latin, history, philosophy, and religion. I learned how to debate theology, something that would matter later in ways I couldn't imagine. I knew my purpose: to marry well, to strengthen alliances, to bring honor to Spain. At 3 years old, I was betrothed to Prince Arthur of England, the son of the new Tudor king. Even as a child, I was told that England would be my home one day. When I turned 16, I finally set sail to England. The journey was long and rough, and when I arrived, everything felt cold. The air, the people, even the language. But I reminded myself, this is my destiny. Be strong. Be gracious. Arthur was quiet, polite, and kind. We were both young, and I believed truly that in time we'd grow to love each other. But 5 months after our wedding, he fell ill and died. I was 16, widowed, and stranded in a foreign land. The court didn't know what to do with me. My dowry wasn't fully paid, and my parents and Henry VII argued for years about money. I lived in uncertainty, with little income, often selling my belongings to pay my servants. There were days I wondered if I would ever go home, or if England would become my prison. Henry, Arthur's younger brother, was 10 when I first met him. Years later, he grew into a confident, energetic man who loved music, hunting, and being admired. After his father died, he became king, and suddenly, everything changed for me. He wanted to marry me. He said he loved me, that God had meant us to be together. The Pope granted a special dispensation because I'd been Arthur's widow. And so, in 1509, I married Henry and became Queen of England. For a time, I was genuinely happy. Henry and I were partners. He asked for my advice, trusted me when he went to war, even made me regent while he fought in France. I loved him deeply. I believed he loved me too, but the one thing I could not give him was a living son. I was pregnant 6 times. Each time I prayed, each time I hoped. Only my daughter Mary survived. Every loss broke something inside me. But I never let anyone see it. I told myself, you are queen. You must be strong. Henry grieved with me at first. But over the years, I saw how the disappointment changed him. He wanted a son to continue his legacy. And when he stopped believing that I could give him one, his heart started to wander. Then came Anne Boleyn. I had known her when she served at court. She was clever, ambitious, and unafraid to challenge him. At first, I thought she was just another flirtation. But then I saw the way he looked at her, the way he once looked at me. Soon, he began saying our marriage was invalid. He claimed that because I had been Arthur's wife, God was punishing us. He said his conscience was troubled, but I knew it wasn't conscience. It was obsession. When he demanded an annulment, I refused. I told him, I was your brother's wife in name only. I came to you a virgin. I am your lawful wife and queen. And I meant it. For 7 years, we fought over it. Not with swords, but with words, politics, and faith. I stood in court, looked him in the eyes, and said, I have been to you a true and humble wife. If I have offended you, I ask forgiveness. But I say before God, I am your lawful wife. He didn't answer. He simply looked away. That moment told me everything. When the Pope refused to grant the annulment, Henry decided to take what he wanted anyway. He broke away from Rome, made himself head of the Church of England, and married Anne Boleyn in secret. I was ordered to give up my title, my jewels, even my right to call myself queen. They wanted me to sign a paper agreeing that I had never been Henry's true wife. I tore it up. They took my daughter Mary from me, forbade her to visit. That was the hardest part, not losing my crown, but being separated from my child. I had no power left except my faith, and I clung to it. They sent me from one damp house to another, the Moor, Buckton, Kimbolton. My health declined. I was often cold, often sick, but I refused to call myself Dowager Princess. I signed every letter, Catherine the Queen. I prayed for Henry every day, even after he betrayed me. I prayed for Mary that she would one day take her rightful place. When I felt death approaching, I wrote my last letter to Henry. I called him my lord, my dear husband, and I told him I forgave him. That was the truth, not because I forgot what he did, but because I wanted peace. I died in 1536. They buried me quietly, not as a queen, but as a princess. Yet the people still called me Queen Catherine. And 6 months later, Anne Boleyn, the woman for whom I was cast aside, was executed. I never wished her death, but I understood then that pride destroys everyone in its path, even kings. My daughter Mary became queen years later, England's first reigning queen. Through her, my blood and my faith lived on. I spent my life doing my duty as a daughter, a wife, and a queen. I wasn't perfect. I questioned myself many times, but I never betrayed my conscience. If that makes me stubborn, so be it. I'd rather be remembered as the woman who stood her ground than the one who bowed to a king. I am Catherine of Aragon, Queen of England, and I never stopped believing I was right.